Welcome to today's edition of HQ Roundtable. This is episode number 26. I'm very excited to be here with the National Guard candidates. On my very far right is Lee Berrier from Massachusetts. And then we have Cynthia Davis from Maryland, Stephen Doherty from Rhode Island, and Kathie Fleischauer from Connecticut. All the candidates are from the Eastern Conference. We are very excited that you are here with us today, and we're going to begin right away with the questions. We have some questions that we are going to ask that the organization wrote up, but if anybody that is joining us on Facebook Live has any questions, please let us know right away, and we will make sure that we ask those questions. Please make sure that all of the questions that you ask are directed to all of the candidates and not just one candidate specifically. So I'm going to start with Lee. We're going to do alphabetical by last name. So Lee, what made you decide to become a candidate?
I have looked forward to being able to lead this organization for a really, really long time. I was going to be a candidate in 2020. And because of COVID, I needed to step off. And I stepped off with the full intention of coming back when it was the East's turn again. And it is the East's turn again.
Very good. Okay, Cynthia, what made you decide to become a candidate?
My decision to become a candidate was from being asked for support from my auxiliary and my department. And I talked with my family, and I just felt like this was a time of my commitment to serving our veterans and their families on a larger scale. And on a national level, I could provide an opportunity to amplify the auxiliaries' mission and foster collaborations and inspire others to making it.
Excellent. Stephen, so what made you decide to become a candidate?
Many encouraging words from mentors and members across the state from different departments. They gave me a lot of great challenges, and so I accepted them. And I also want to do more for my fellow veterans. When the auxiliary allowed men into the organization, and because I was already volunteering at VFW events, I already felt like I was part of the team. Soon after joining, I found myself in leadership positions within the department and national. It was, and it is, an exciting time in my life. So my desire is to do more for this organization to keep it rolling forward.
Thank you. How about you, Kathie? What made you decide to become a candidate?
Well, I have to say, first, my love for this organization. And the time is right in my life right now. And my career path in this organization. I've gone through all the chairs in the department, and again, the second time in the department. And again, the time is just right.
Very good. Okay. So question number 2, Cynthia, we'll start with you this time.
Okay.
Why do you feel you are the best candidate for the position of VFW Auxiliary National Guard?
I bring both experience and a fresh perspective, which allows me to respect the auxiliaries' rich traditions while embracing the need for innovation. And these qualities, positions are not just as a capable leader, but as someone who inspires others to join, to making a difference.
Very good. Okay, Stephen. Why do you feel you are the best candidate for the position of VFW Auxiliary National Guard?
So my first year as a member, auxiliary members saw that I had a servant's heart and elected me into a department office. When I served as department president, Rhode Island was awarded the Circle of Excellence 2 years in a row. I have served as National Americanism Ambassador and Patriotic Instructor, National Color Bearer, and National District Council member. The VFW Auxiliary is my daily focus, and it's become a household name. I've attended nearly every cafe, and I've attended every national convention, national mid-year conference since I've joined. I've traveled to several states to meet the members and see how they work the national programs. I'm fully invested and involved with this organization, and it would be an honor to serve as your next VFW Auxiliary National Guard.
Okay. So, Kathie, next up, why do you feel that you are the best candidate for the position of VFW Auxiliary National Guard?
Best candidate. I think the voters are going to decide who the best candidate is. And that's what our brochures are all about. That's where all of our credentials are. They'll look at all of them and decide on that situation. Do I feel I'm the right candidate? Yes, I feel I'm the right candidate.
Okay, very good. Okay, Lee, your turn. Why do you feel that you are the best candidate for the position of VFW Auxiliary National Guard?
I think my length of time in the auxiliary, I joined at 16. I've been in over 45 years, and during that time have gone through auxiliary and district. I did 8 years of chairmanships before I ran for department office, was an outstanding department president. Had the opportunity to serve as Eastern Conference president, had the opportunity to serve as national council member, and all with learning and focus and watching the changes that have occurred within the auxiliary, and considering where else we can go in the future to keep this the strong and viable organization that it always has been.
Thank you very much. Okay, Cynthia, you get to be first. Nope, wait a minute. My Aunt Cynthia. Stephen, you get to be first this time. Okay. If you could provide input for one of our existing national programs, which one would you choose and why?
The Youth Activities Program has always been special to me. It was my first choice when asked to be a department chairman, and because I had great memories as a scout leader. So moving forward, this program has added many more ideas and activities, and the youth are really showing great things. So right now, there's a program, Youth Reading to Our Veterans, and Veterans Reading to Our Youth. How precious is that? Youth groups are so important to our community. They help spread patriotism and honor our veterans. This national program educates our youth about VFW, auxiliary, and about our country.
Okay, very good. Kathie, if you could provide input into one of our existing national programs, which one would you choose and why?
I would choose scholarship to continuing education. I think it gets lost, and I think it needs more emphasis. I believe that we don't give it enough emphasis, and that we need more applicants. I believe that we need to look out for our adults that are looking for more education, and that we need to give them more support. We need to give more emphasis to that program.
Okay, thank you. Lee, if you could provide input into one of our existing national programs, which one would you choose and why?
I would choose media relations. I don't think we tell our story well enough. And I think in recent years, especially with things like Facebook Live, with so many opportunities that the traditional print media in a lot of towns doesn't exist anymore. And the way that we used to tell our story has changed, and we need to make those changes with it. And until we can tell our neighbors and friends and the community at large what we do, we need to tell them our story to entice them to join us and share all the good work that we're doing, because that's what makes us attractive as an organization.
Very nice. And Cynthia, if you could provide input into one of our existing national programs, which one would you choose and why?
Legislative, because it champions the rights and benefits of our veterans and their families through advocacy and policy influence. And in this position, we could help amplify the voices of our veterans on critical issues like mental health, health services, education, healthcare, to mention a few. This would ensure that the lawmakers and public understand and address veterans' needs. Focusing on legislative efforts ensure the auxiliary's mission extends beyond immediate support, shaping a better future for generations to come.
Thank you. And before we go to the next question, I just want to make a comment. So we didn't discuss this ahead of time, so I don't believe that you guys knew what each person was going to pick, but I find it very interesting that you all picked a different program and that you all explained why you would pick that program. And I found that very interesting. So thank you for sharing that. So, because, you know, you could have all picked the same program. And so that was really good. Okay. So Kathie, you're first on this one. How would you lead the national organization in reaching out to younger eligible veteran families?
Okay, so if we're talking about our national organization, the auxiliary, I would say that we need to go to the VFW. We need to go to their meetings. We need to bring applications, and we need to say, if you're a member of the VFW organization, why aren't your family members of our organization? Say, why isn't if you're not married, why isn't your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister? I just said this at another meeting that I was at. Invite them. It's the VFW needs to reach out to the veterans that I believe they are there. They are willing to join the VFW organization. And now it's the VFW that needs to help us to get them to have their family members join us. So bring VFW applications with you wherever you go, but also make sure that you're reaching out to the VFW to say, why aren't your VFW family members joining us? So that's where I believe that we reach out to the younger eligible VFW family members and share your love and enthusiasm for our organization. I think that's the biggest thing. I have so much love and enthusiasm for this organization. And I think we just need to share it. I think if we spread that, we're going to get the younger people involved. We just have to share the enthusiasm.
Okay, very good. Okay, Lee, it's your turn. How would you lead the national organization in reaching out to younger eligible veteran families?
Similar to Kathie, I believe that involving the auxiliary and the post working together will go a long way toward that. I think that today's generation has so many things competing for its time that we need to try and create family events through our post and auxiliary for them to attend. And I think the importance of the scholarship program and the national home program can't be overstated enough, because they are two avenues that directly affect families, that directly affect future generations. And the younger veterans have younger children. And if we can help them as they're tightening their belts in ways to get their kids through college or, make things easier for them, I think that's the way to go. But we need to create things that will interest the family.
Nice. Cynthia, how would you lead the national organization in reaching out to younger eligible veteran families?
I would say that the auxiliary and the VFW could take a thoughtful approach to engage younger eligible veteran families, focusing on modern communication strategies, community building initiatives. And this could be completed by utilizing digital platforms, creating family-oriented programs, and cooperating with local schools and businesses, and highlighting the benefits of our membership.
Very good. Okay, Stephen, how would you lead the national organization in reaching out to younger eligible veteran families?
Many of the posts and auxiliaries have made strides in improving the atmosphere of the post for this generation. So let's keep that effort going. Ask the younger eligible veteran families, what will make it worthwhile for them to come into our post and learn about what we are doing. Learn what will inspire them to help our organization and to support our veterans. We can take these families and veterans out to events, ceremonies, and parades, encourage them to help with our mission. Show them why we do what we do for our veterans, and then sign them up.
Very good. Okay, so we are halfway through and we've only used up 15 minutes, so I need to start talking a little bit slower. But I'm going to ask you, so we have questions that we have written down and we have the audience or the Facebook Live viewers out there to see if they have any questions. But I'm going to ask a question that's not on the paper. So all of you are have been a department president. So I would like you to think about this, and we will call on this question in a little bit. I will call back on it, but keep thinking about it. What is one of the favorite things that you did your year as department president? Maybe some out of the box thinking, maybe some hospital visit you did, maybe some Americanism or youth program that you did, or something you did in your department to try to get members to come. So think about that. I'm not asking that now, but I'm going to save that till almost the end. So, but now we're going to go to the next one that's on my question things. And the next up is Lee. Where would you put membership in the order of let me start that again. Where would you put membership in the order of importance of programs and why?
It's almost a loaded question.
It is.
Everybody wants to jump in and say it's got to be first, it's got to be primary. I'm going to temper that a little. Yes, it's important, but so are some of the other programs. I happen to have enough of a history, and I can only speak through my own experience. When I first started, there were over 100 auxiliaries in my department and like 12 or 13,000 members. By the time I went through as department president, we had 120 and maybe 7,000 or 8,000, or we're sitting at 100. We're now at closer to 75 and are sitting at 3 or 4. And we've changed divisions and we've changed dynamics. And we are not alone in this. There are a lot of auxiliaries who, for many reasons, the auxiliaries don't exist anymore. They've gone out, they've consolidated, and we're doing more with less. And the amount of people that we are bringing in may never catch up to where we were that many years ago. That doesn't mean it's not important, because every member counts. Every member makes a difference for legislative to say, hey, we have this many members and this is what we represent. So yes, it's important, but I'm not sure it's first. I think that the other programs together are what's going to help us to gain members and build on membership. And there are going to be a lot of people at home that are probably unhappy with me for this answer, but it's what's in my heart. And that's all I can tell you is, I've lived through this, and I want to see it get better, but we have to figure out what happens to our organization if it doesn't get as good as it was.
Very good. Okay. Next up, Cynthia. Where would you put membership in the order of importance of programs and why?
Okay, I put it at the top because membership is the foundation of the VFW Auxiliary, and our success depends on getting strong members. And when we get these members, if we mentor to these members before they come and let them know what we are actually all about, what this organization stands for, that we're here for the veterans and the things that we do, then I think that once we bring all of this to the forefront, that we will then gain stronger members and lasting members that will not just come to one meeting and then leave. They will come and they will stay. So I put membership because that is our foundation. And without a foundation, we're lost.
Very good. Okay, Stephen, Where would you put membership in order of importance of programs and why?
Number one, without members, we cannot support our veterans, military, and families. The more members, the more voices to support improvements in veterans and families legislation. Our membership has been 100% for the last couple of years. We are doing well and we can do better. We are here to work with the VFW and to show them that we can and will support them.
Very good. And before I go to Kathie, make sure you write, I see there's a question up there, so make sure you guys write it down because you're going to have to repeat it to every one of the candidates because I can't see it from here. Okay, Kathie, where would you put membership in order of importance of programs and why?
Okay. So I would have to say that membership is tied at number one with veterans and family support because we can't have the membership without the veterans. So veterans are number one, but membership would have to be tied with veterans and family support because without the veterans, there's no reason to have the membership, and you have to have the membership in order to help the veterans. So it would have to be tied with veterans and family support.
Very good. And you know what's really funny? Lee, you are absolutely right. It is kind of a trick question because you can't have one without the other. So it truly, and it's interesting to see where you go and how you answer that. But it truly is, it's you need the members to work the programs, but you need the programs to attract the members. So it truly is. It's more of how you think as an individual. So thank you for sharing that with all of us. Okay, so next up is Cynthia. Okay, membership not included. What is your favorite program and why? Oh, I know what your answer is going to be.
Hospital.
Oh, that's a shock.
Really? Hospital. I'll tell you, when I started out at the hospital being a volunteer, and that's where I got introduced to the VFW auxiliary, and because of my brother. But we now know the cost of freedom, and if you want to know the cost of freedom, go through the VA hospital. And that's just, when we can do for those that have served us, it just makes a big difference. And that's my passion. That's where my heart lies at, right at being in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Stephen, membership not included. What is your favorite program and why?
Americanism is an unfailing love of country. Serving as VFW National Americanism Ambassador and Patriotic Instructor was such a highlight for me. After learning what the position really meant and receiving all the information that I was getting from other department chairmen, I was overwhelmed with how patriotic we all can be. Departments shared so much information about what their members did throughout their local communities and in their neighborhood. There was tons of photos of parades, cookouts, sporting events, many different types of ceremonies. Everyone was having fun, even if it was raining out. Americanism.
Very nice. Okay, so Kathie, membership not included. What is your favorite program and why?
So I'm going to say youth is my favorite program. I've been a youth chairman before. I have grandchildren, children, obviously, but the youth program. I've gone into the schools. I've done reading to the students, the reading the literacy, the patriotism through literacy. I have to say, I came through the airports on my way here, and there was a dad with a little kid who had a Class A cap. The child had a Class A cap on his head, and I had to stop and say, I love your hat. And just the youth, and to be able to see that, and to have the wrap cards to be able to give to the kids, and the Illustrating America, I just have to say the youth program is my favorite program.
Nice. Okay, so Lee, membership not included. What is your favorite program and why?
I'm going to go with legislative. It's one of the programs that is, for a lot of members, less hands-on, because not everybody is good at that face-to-face interaction. It's terribly important to remind the people who vote these bills that we have a voice and we need to be heard and the promise needs to be kept. And there are issues that affect local, regional, county, state, and national. And whether you call somebody on the phone, whether you write a letter, whether you now use social media to reach out to your senators or representatives, it's a way for every individual member to use their voice to promote this organization and to help a veteran in the process.
Very good. Thank you. And I just want to make a comment on that. You all picked a different program again, which is very interesting. And when I was running for office, I would tell you what my favorite program is, but it changed from when I ran to what my favorite program is now. And I won't tell you what it is because I don't want to share my reasons, but I thought it was very interesting the way you did that. But I will say, hospital was my least favorite program. And the reason was because I worked in a nursing home. So when I got out of work and did my volunteer work with the auxiliary, I wanted to do something different. So for those of you out there, when you get a member, find out what they love and what they want to do. And that is the best thing that they will work at. However, I did enjoy going to the hospitals. We would sing Christmas carols and we would do parties at the hospitals, and it was a lot of fun. I am a terrible singer, so they probably were happier when I didn't make it. But truly, my focus from when I actually ran a long time ago to now has changed because the organization changes.
Yes.
So, but I really enjoyed all of your answers, so thank you for that. Okay, so Cynthia, you were first then. So Stephen, this one's yours. What do you see changing in the next 10 years for our organization?
Membership. Veterans and family members from the Persian Gulf, Iraq, and Afghanistan wars will be retiring from their professions and joining our ranks. An increase in post and auxiliaries overseas, and one of us will be a past national president on the National Council of Administration.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That would be a change.
Yes,
Okay, Kathie, what do you see changing in the next 10 years for our organization?
So I see strength and commitment. I see a stronger sense of commitment with the generation that's coming up. I see that very strongly. So that's what I see, a strong sense of strength and commitment.
Very good. Okay, Lee, what do you see changing in the next 10 years for our organization?
I'll narrow it down to veterans and family support because the VFW members and their families are going to need different things in 5 years or in 10 years than they do now. They may still need some of the same things we're offering, and those will continue to assist them. But we are going to have to make the adjustment so that we continue to fill the needs of those veterans and their families as we move forward. And I believe their needs are going to change.
Okay, thank you. And Cynthia, what do you see changing in the next 10 years for our organization?
Over the next decade, I see increased digital engagement utilizing social media, digital platforms to connect to younger members and to reach a broader audience, engage diverse communities, younger veteran families, legislative initiatives, and with a focus on advocating for policies that will benefit these veterans in a rapidly changing world.
Very good. Okay, so now I have one more question that I'm going to ask now. I'm going to save the two that I had already mentioned. Well, the one that I say for last always, and then I'll go to Chris. So the last question that I'm going to ask right now is, and I'm going to start with Kathie.
Okay.
Why did you join the auxiliary and what inspired you to be an active member? Because it may be two different things.
Okay. I joined the auxiliary because my husband at the time was a member of the VFW. He's a Vietnam veteran, and he was active in the VFW. And I saw how much he loved the VFW, and I felt that I could be a good member of the auxiliary, so I joined. I became a secretary right away, and I continued to be an active member because my son is now a member of the VFW as an Iraqi war veteran. And again, I'm an active member because I love this organization.
Okay, very good. So, Lee, your turn. Why did you join the auxiliary and what inspired you to be an active member?
I joined the auxiliary to establish a connection to a grandfather that I was never going to get to meet. My grandfather got killed in World War II on an ammunition ship in the South Pacific when my mother was 12. And I wanted to honor the Gold Star service and sacrifices that he made, that my family had made, and to find a connection to that, because that was it was important to me to be able to honor his service. And that has carried me through every single level of this organization right up to today. And ultimately, that is why I joined, why I stayed active, and I'd like to think I did him proud.
Thank you. And Cynthia, why did you join the auxiliary and what inspired you to be an active member?
Well, I joined this organization because of my brother Jerome. And Jerome was a Vietnam veteran. And as I stated before, the Jerome that left was not the Jerome that came back. And after I started volunteering in the hospital, and then I found out where Jerome got all his help from to get him through the Agent Orange, through the drugs, through everything else that we went through. And I found out about the VFW Auxiliary, and I joined. And now I have been bitten by this organization. And I tell you, I got a passion, I got a love for it, not going anywhere. And I just can't do enough to do for those that served, to honor them that served for us. And that's just my passion. And that's why I just do what I do.
Very nice. And okay, so Stephen, why did you join the auxiliary and what inspired you to be an active member?
I joined the auxiliary so I can continue to serve our country. I saw how happy the auxiliary made veterans when we visited them at the veterans' homes, the veterans' hospital. I was inspired to be an active member when I saw the difference we made in veterans' lives. It's a very broad, huge story everywhere, but we make a difference.
And it's funny, I think it was Cynthia that said something about it sucks you in.
Yes.
And the more you do, the more you want to do. So those were very true statements from all of you. Okay, so Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you. Start with Lee because we are up to Lee now, and ask the questions that have been coming through. So ask them all the same question, and then we'll go and see if you got more than one question. I know you got one for sure.
Yes, we have some great questions from people watching. So Kathie Sullivan wanted to ask, did you ever feel discouraged at any role along the way? And how did you or who helped you overcome that feeling?
I like that question.
Yeah, absolutely. This just speaks to mentoring. We have a very active past department president group in Massachusetts. There are usually 15 or 20 of us at any given point in time. And they step in and step up for whatever is needed. If I had questions or problems or didn't know how to manage an aspect of the chairmanship or wasn't sure the nuances of the right way to handle a situation, I had a group of people, if I chose to go by committee, or a few particular people that I got to know well enough to ask the questions, the difficult questions, and say, how should I handle this? How do I do this? And they had the grace to give me the answers when I didn't have them, and to give me suggestions without telling me how to handle it. It was my decision to, ultimately how things were going to be done, but they would give me advice and it was usually very, very good.
Thank you.
Great. Did you ever feel discouraged in any role along the way? And how did you or who helped you overcome that feeling?
Yes, I did feel discouraged as I moved up the chairs and when I got to be auxiliary president and things didn't quite go the way I wanted it to go. But then, Lee said, I had a group of people that I could talk to and then kind of work it out. And then they would ultimately not give me the answer, but they would get me to that point to where I could work it out and then not get discouraged and leave. Because if you leave, you can't be the change that you want to see.
Very good.
Same question. Did you ever feel discouraged in any role along the way? And how did you or who helped you overcome that feeling?
So yes, the answer is always going to be yes. There's always something that comes up. My chief of staff is the first one I go to. And one of the things she also tells me is ask 3 past department presidents. So we have a conversation, we figure out what's going on, how to fix it, and then we try our best to fix it. We can't fix everything. Sometimes the person that is having an issue, sometimes it has to accept it and let's just go on. But yes.
Great. Did you ever feel discouraged in any role along the way? And how did you or who helped you overcome that feeling?
I think I have to stay along with everyone else. Obviously, yes. And my answer is going to be the same as them, past department presidents, because they're our mentors. And that's what we do as past department presidents, which we all have been. That's what our continued role is supposed to be, is to stay there and become mentors for whoever else needs us. So yes, of course.
So do you have another question over there, Chris?
We do, yes.
Okay, well, so we'll start with Cynthia this time.
Okay. Lisa Zabo Rashley asks, once quality members join, how would you help them integrate into an existing auxiliary of strong members?
When a new member joins, don't just leave them there, give them that's where that mentoring comes in. And then let them know all about the programs that we have and all of the, and then let them know that you got open to a policy that if they have a problem, they can come right back to you to get that answer, and just don't leave them to their own devices, which means with me, I like to work with you all the way to the end.
Very good. Well, once quality members join, how would you help them integrate into an existing auxiliary of strong members?
So once you get them in the door, introduce them to the members. Talk to some of the members, see if they have the same ideas, same interests, and try to find somebody who will get attached to them, who will be willing to take them from step A to B to C and get them the information that they need, the new podium, get them all the information and work with that person who is going to be the guide. And a lot of people will do that. You just have to set it up.
Okay, same question. Once quality members join, how would you help them integrate into an existing auxiliary of strong members?
Well, I think following Stephen, find that mentor, that right connection, the right person that's going to connect with them, and maybe go over the programs and set them up with the program that connects with them and get them involved with the program so that they get excited about what we do and how we do the things that we do.
All right. Once quality members join, how would you help them integrate into an existing auxiliary of strong members?
Start with hello. Hi, my name is Lee. I'm also an auxiliary member here. Here's my phone number, because I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of information tonight, and you'll probably have questions after this meeting's over. I'm going to give you one of our new Podium Edition books. Take it home, stick it in the bathroom if you need to, stick it in the bedroom. If you read a little before you go to bed, And pretty much every question you're going to have will get answered in there somewhere. I wouldn't recommend reading it all at once, front to back. Find out something that you're interested in and read a couple of pieces at a time, because life is like a pie. And I've never seen anybody sit down and eat an entire pie all at once. You got to cut it up into slices. And what are you interested in? Tell me about you, because then I can figure out this program or this event that we have coming up, you might be interested in, and I'd like to see you come to that. Hi, my name is Lee.
Very good. Okay, do we have another one?
We do, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Lori Dale asked, if you had to eliminate one program, what would it be?
Ooh, oh, that's
Does Stephen, I believe, first?
yes. Stephen would be first.
I would be first. One program, what would I eliminate?
I don't even know if I can answer that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any program I would eliminate. I would like to illuminate all of them, get them all spread out even better and more active. But I cannot think of one program, because obviously we haven't gotten rid of any in how many years? Because they're all good. So none. Sorry, Lori.
Kathie? Oh, I'm sorry. Chris?
If you had to eliminate one program, what would it be?
Off the top of my head, probably would be historian media, and probably I would figure out how to rework it, do it differently, maybe rename it. But if I had to look at all of the programs, that would be, don't want to say it's less important, but I think I would revamp that one. I would change that one. But that would be the one I think I would have to take off the table compared to the other ones and just rework it. But if I had to take one off, that would be the one I would take off.
Okay. Same question. If you had to eliminate one program, what would it be?
That is a really, really tough question. I'm not sure I would actually eliminate anything, but I think we'd have to consolidate. And I've seen that done over the years. You know, I've seen programs come and go. But we're down a, kind of like the dirty dozen, if you will. And they all serve a very important purpose. But I would probably take something along the idea of mentoring and pull it in with one of the other programs, because it's important, but we already know it's important and we already know how to do it. And I think we'd probably connect it to our healthy auxiliary and our extension and rework the whole package. Because how we present to each other and to the community and to other organizations, and that there are little aspects of all of that in there, but we already know how to do it, so we have to tighten up the focus and make that, maybe just clarify it a little.
Okay. Well, once more, if you had to eliminate one program, what would it be?
Oh. That is really, really, really tough. And I don't think I could take any, I don't think it's any that I would take out. I would go with consolidating or consolidation, but not remove any program.
That was a very tough program. I mean, a very tough question.
question.
Lori Dale, very tough question. How many more do you have?
We have two more.
Okay.
3.
Well,
Somebody just said.
so we need to move a little faster now, because and I want to end with my last question, and I might skip the question about the department president favorite thing that I made you think about. So go ahead, Chris. What do you got?
Yeah.
Pamela Griffin asks, what will you do to make the auxiliary better?
That's my turn, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
What would I do to make the auxiliary better? Oh. That's a really good question. I would say personally, again, I'm very strong with enthusiasm and sharing that enthusiasm and trying to stay away from the negative. I think, and I like to blame COVID for a lot, but I think COVID just put us down this deep, dark hole of negativity. And I think we are very slowly working ourselves out of that negativity, but we have to bring back the excitement and the enthusiasm. And I think once we can do that, we will become a better organization. We have to bring back that enthusiasm, the smile, what I said to somebody the other day is in the airport, I noticed that there were people who were excited about seeing each other, coming up and hugging each other and just enjoying each other's company. And I think if we can bring that all back to civilization in itself, and our organization will become a better organization.
Starting down here, what will you do to make the auxiliary better?
Well, I hope to lead by example, and I hope that my passion and my enthusiasm will be enough to get everybody else excited and passionate and involved and want to ride this roller coaster with me. And I will work very hard to remember to say thank you to each and every one of you for whatever it is that you do for your auxiliary, for your district, for this national organization, because we don't exist without you. So thank you.
What will you do to make the auxiliary better?
First, honesty, being fair, treating everybody the same, not showing any favoritism. And sometimes when you have to make a hard decision, you just let them know that it's not personal, you know. So honesty, I think honesty, being fair, being courteous, not being afraid to say thank you. You know, please, can you do this? Thank you for doing it. And, you know, and then rewarding all of our members that, you know, that's one of the things. People feel like when you really actually thank them for what they've done.
Very good. What will you do to make the auxiliary better?
I think the auxiliary is great, but there's always the but. So last year, I had some seasoned members that always bring up what they used to do, what they always did back then. And a lot of the ideas and things that they did were great. So I brought back one of them last year. It was a bus trip to New York City to go to the Statue of Liberty. Some people liked it. Not a lot of people went for it, but I tried to bring back something from years ago. So please bring back some of these other ideas, because if it was great back then, well, let's make it great again. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing things that we used to do, even though we have a lot more and newer things to do, but that could help.
Okay, go ahead, Chris. We can do another one.
Okay. What is one thing you would like to change about the organization?
Ooh.
Forget.
Let's see,
to start.
Stephen, let's see, Kathie was first last time. So we are back to Lee.
Back to me.
There's one thing you would like to change about the organization.
Well, I'm not sure it's the answer, but one of the biggest things that I hear from the membership is they find the reporting a bit overwhelming. They want less paperwork. I think that an online option might be something that we could look to in the future. But you have to remember that all of the work that you do, if you don't report it to your department and your department doesn't report it to national, we don't have those numbers and dollars and figures to go out and say, hey, would you like to join us? Because X number of us have done this, and we've spent X number of dollars making this better. So I can't eliminate the paperwork. I can't say, oh, we don't need this anymore, because the information it gives us is crucial to this organization being known, being recognized, and moving forward, because we can't attract anybody else as a member if we don't show them what we're able to do. So while I can't change the reality of reporting, we might be able to find a better way.
Okay. Same question. What is one thing you would like to change with auxiliary?
Well, I'm almost like leave with the reporting. I think we could make it a little simpler, and not so in-depth that about the reporting. And then the fact that sometimes we can't get members to take the chairmanships, and so some of us are doing double duty with doing the reporting, and then just stop making it feel like it's a job to the member that you got to do this, and just get it. Let's just get it done and do what we have to do.
Okay. What is one thing you would like to change about the organization?
So we're talking about reporting, and it's a very great subject. What we see is not everybody is reporting everything they do. So how can we make that easier? How can we come up with maybe a form that everybody can carry around with them? Oh, I just drove 3 people to the hospital, so let me put in for 3 hours. Or I did this the other day. I mean, there's a lot of times I do a lot of things and we do a lot of things that we don't count. Well, we need to find a better way for us to count for that time. So reporting, as much as people don't want all these reports, but these reports stand for something. They help us. Whether it's through Congress, through the IRS, or whatever, we need it.
Okay. One more time. What was one thing you would like to change of the auxiliary?
Yeah, I think we're all of the same mind as the reporting. But I think as we're seeing on the side, there are ways to be able to report online if we all, have the ability to be able to do that. Connecticut doesn't have it, but I think we're going to probably try to look into it. But we don't have a dashboard like the VFW has a dashboard. I think that's what they call it. If we had that, that might be good. However, I only just started again using a paper calendar to keep track of what I do, because I got used to using my phone to put everything, and it doesn't always save what you have. Every once in a while, my phone wipes out everything that I did a few months back. So I went back to using a paper calendar, like 18-month paper calendar, to write in everything that I do with notes. Not that I want everybody to do that, but it reminds me so that when I go back to have to do my reports, I have that information to be able to write that down. And in my auxiliary meetings, I keep the flyers, which we're supposed to do, keep our flyers in a notebook, and I write down when there's a donation made, so that when the time comes to do our reports, I go back and I know how much money we donated to whatever this was on that particular flyer or bulletin, whatever you call it. I have that information there. So again, the programs and the flyers and our reports are so important when we're department presidents, and we have to come to that time where we have to send in those reports to national to get the awards that we get at national convention. We need your help. We need the members, we need the chairman to be able to do those reports. So as department presidents, or are not necessarily department presidents, but as auxiliary presidents, that some of us are, we're not doing all the work. So we need our members to be able to help us do that, become program chairman, help us do that. And we can make this auxiliary better and work better.
So before I ask you the last question that I have on my list, I just want to say something about reporting. So on a national level, we ask for a lot less information. We ask for information that we like to put on our fact sheets so we can put it out so that when somebody asks, why should I join? What do you do? That's what we ask for. Departments ask for different or more information because they do the awards and they need to know what you did in order to give the award to the best auxiliary or member that did whatever it is that they have on their report forms. Some departments have automated their reporting and it goes right, they can enter the stuff right onto their site. So there is that capability as well. So eventually, maybe all of the auxiliaries will have it. But I know the smaller departments tend to not have it because it's more affordable. Costs you the same if you're a small department or a big department. So bigger departments tend to have more money that they can afford to get something like that, where a smaller department does not. So, but we are working on that reporting. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I did see a lot of questions about that. Okay. So we started with, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start this way. So we're going to start with Kathie and we're going to go to the right. We're going to change it up completely. So Kathie, what is one thing that you would like us to remember about you?
Okay. And I think you're going to remember it because I've been saying it over and over again for the last hour. I'd like you to remember my enthusiasm and my love for this organization. That's what I'd like you to remember, that this organization means so much to me. What I tell people now is that my blood runs veteran. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska. My father was in the military. He was waiting to be shipped to Korea. He did not have to go. My grandfather is buried in Arlington Cemetery. My son, again, I've already said, is an Iraqi war veteran. I was an active duty military wife. My first husband was in the Army. We spent 6 years as active duty. We were in Virginia, Germany, and Michigan. My second husband, again, as I said, was a Vietnam veteran. And so, again, my blood runs veterans. So I want you to remember, this organization means everything to me. Remember my enthusiasm and my love for it.
Okay, Stephen, your turn. What is one thing you would like us to remember about you?
That I care. Veterans are number one. I'm willing to help, listen, find answers, whatever it takes. I am there. Veterans are the reason, I'll say it again, veterans are the reason we work so hard in the auxiliary.
Thank you. Okay, Cynthia, what is one thing you would like us to remember about you?
I want you to remember my passion, my love for the veterans and for this organization, and that I have for each and every one of you all, and my drive for positive change.
Okay, Lee, last question. What is one thing you would like us to remember about you?
I am very enthusiastic about having the opportunity to serve each and every one of you as a national officer and as the next National Guard. I want you to remember that my name is Lee Berrier, and I hope you vote for me.
So I want to thank all the candidates for being here. They will be at National Convention, as long as the creek don't rise, whatever that saying is. But they will all be at National Convention. Nominations will be held on Tuesday. And after everyone has been nominated, then we will go into the candidates. We'll each have 5 minutes to speak. And they can speak about whatever they'd like to speak about, as long as they keep it within the 5 minutes. And when they're done, they'll be available for you to go up, ask questions. They can mill about. If you're going to caucus, make sure you send up an announcement to the front table so that we can announce who's caucusing and when, and the candidates will be happy to speak to you. Again, on behalf of the candidates and myself, we are really excited that you tuned in today. We hope that you find this helpful. And truly, you really need to get to know them all. They are all wonderful people, and any one of them will do a wonderful job. I love the word wonderful. It is my favorite word. So please, please reach out to them at National Convention and get to know them a little bit better. Thank you again for joining us today on Facebook Live HQ Roundtable.
Gonna give him a wave?
The end.